Harper Audio presents On Bowie by Rob Sheffield. Performed by Tristan Morris. The man replied, "Things as they are changed upon the blue guitar." Wallace Stevens, The Man with the Blue Guitar. Introduction 1. Planet Earth is a lot bluer without David Bowie, the greatest rock star who ever fell to this or any other world. He was the hottest tramp, the slinkiest vagabond, the prettiest star who ever shouted, "You're not alone," to an arena full of the world's loneliest kids. He was the most human and most alien of rock artists, turning to face the strange, speaking to the freak in everyone. He stared into your twitchy teenage eyes to assure you that you've torn your dress and your face is a mess, yet that's precisely why you're a juvenile success. Whichever Bowie you loved best, the glam starman, the wispy balladeer, the Berlin archduke, he made you feel braver and freer. Which is why the world felt different after you heard Bowie. This man's spaceship always knew which way to go. That's why he always inspired such fierce devotion. As a teenager in the 80s, at home, glued to my radio on a Saturday night because I couldn't get a ticket to the Sirius Moonlight Tour in Boston, I listened as a group of WBCN DJs arrived at the studio fresh from the show, with a cigarette butt they swiped from the man's ashtray backstage, and I listened with goosebumps as they ceremonially smoked it on the air. Bowie fanatics are like that, which is why so many different people have heard themselves in his music. Whether it's Barbra Streisand covering Life on Mars in 1974, or D'Angelo covering Space Oddity in 2012, George Clinton name-checking him on Mothership Connection, or Public Enemy sampling him in Night of the Living Bassheads. Somehow I really thought he'd outlive us all. After all, he'd outlived so many David Bowies before. The weekend he died, I was listening to nothing but Bowie. On Friday night, his birthday, I went to see the tribute band Holy Holy play The Man Who Sold the World in New York, with his longtime producer Tony Visconti on bass, original Spiders drummer Woody Woodmansey, and Heaven 17 singer Glenn Gregory. After finishing the album, they did another solid hour of early 70s Bowie classics, from 5 years to Watch That Man. Visconti had the crowd sing Happy Birthday into his phone and texted it to Bowie. "David's at his birthday party," he told us. "This isn't it." Were we all secretly hoping maybe that Dame would show up? Of course we were. I got weepy when Visconti's daughter sang Lady Stardust, a song that has always made me verklempt because it reminded me Bowie was going to die someday. Though Friday night, that still seemed far away. I spent the rest of the weekend listening to Station and Low, an ordinary weekend since those are easily the two most played albums in my apartment, along with the 1974 Outtake Candidate demo, and of course the new Black Star, an album that sounded very different before Sunday night. As Visconti said after the news broke, Black Star was a parting gift. In his last couple of years on the planet, Bowie threw himself back into the music career everyone figured he'd gracefully retired from, making The Next Day and Black Star as his farewells to the flock he'd assembled over the years. Heading for the final curtain, Bowie chose to face it the way he faced everything else. It was cold and it rained, so he felt like an actor and went on to work, going out at a creative peak. No other rock artist has left a final testament anything like this, nor like the bizarre yet excellent off-Broadway musical he debuted last year, Lazarus, which I was lucky enough to see in December. Definitely the only time I've ever seen actors sing Heroes while swimming like dolphins through a puddle of milk. The whole world was stunned by the news of his death on January 10th, just 2 days after he celebrated his 69th birthday by dropping his newest masterwork, Black Star. The album was a surprise in itself. He just announced it last November, presenting the 10-minute title song
Sample complete. Ready to continue?